All right, happy birthday to Mary Curry. Today she turns 154. Unfortunately, I had to break the fast early because yesterday the winter weather here in Seattle got a little bit more brutal than I was prepared to deal with. I almost thought about maybe during Thanksgiving or Christmas spending some time in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's a lot easier to go on those very long fasts, right? I did at least 3 of those 48 plus hour fasts over in Phoenix, and I miss them, but it's harder to do them here in Seattle. But another subject I want to talk about today, because this one also is true with Mary Curry. She didn't get married until she was 28 years old, which is pretty old for that time. It's still very old today by Polish standards, maybe not by American standards. But I want to talk about one of the benefits of being single slash solosexual. So right now I am once again temporarily living in my car. The Airbnb I was living at, they've gone in season, so they're not really doing monthly rentals at the time. And nice thing is that I got rid of a lot of clutter. So now my seat can actually recline. I don't have a whole lot of clutter, and I have some space to get an extension cord. I got a favorite building that I like to park next to that has electricity, has Wi-Fi, and so it can also be a makeshift office, right? And what I really like is that, not that I want to live in my car for any length of time during this pandemic, but what I like is the ability to know how to live in my car. Why do I like that? Well, I was just negotiating with several owners about a lease, and I liked how it wasn't do or die, right? I could play with them, I could mess with them, and I was able to haggle away a deposit, right? I was able to show the owner that I took care of these other properties that I lived in, right? One in Wallace, the other one just locally here. Show her some of my YouTube videos, and she actually agrees with my views on intermittent fasting, about how I feel so good, and she actually likes the idea that one day I want to say goodbye to the world with one last fast. She likes that idea. A lot of younger people will not accept that. She's in her 70s, so that might be another story. Maybe she's even considering it. Who knows? But she likes that idea. She thinks that life is to be enjoyed, not to be prolonged, right? I like her thoughts on that. A lot of younger people don't seem to appreciate that. They'd rather be on life support for thousands of years if they could do that, right? There's a lot of fight with when Obamacare first came out, this death panel or something like that. Yeah, I understand it could go both ways. But in between a long life and a good life, I'd rather have the good life, right? And then people ask me, well, why don't you eat crap then? But crap doesn't make me feel good in the short term either, right? It gives me a heavy heart and all that. So right now I am, I had to break the fast early. I'm only 10 hours into fasting. I feel so good. I was just at a church service where I wanted to talk to this girl, and I did. And I had a lightweight attitude toward it, right? And that's good. That's how I feel when I'm fasting. But getting back to the story, my family feels sorry that I sometimes live out of my car. And to be honest, yes, I would feel sorry if I lived out of my car for most of my life. I don't feel sorry, not at all, at the idea that I could have my car as a backup plan while I look for good housing, right? Now, what does that have to do with being happily single? You know, the right relationship might come, right? But the fact that I have somewhere to retreat allows me to find it, right? In the past, when I haven't been so happily single, I've jumped from one bad relationship to a worse relationship, right? I don't have to do that anymore. I remember, so I've lived through 2 major crises in my life, right? The financial, almost second depression of 2008, and now COVID-19. Two very different attitudes toward relationships. Right? Back then, I was really envious about people who had somebody to lock up with during this uncertain time. Right now, I'm so glad that I'm free, and at the end of it, I'll be equipped to handle a lot of other things that I wasn't at the beginning of the pandemic. Right, and I have met some significant people in my life over the last 18 months as well. Anyways, even if you don't want to be permanently single, just the ability to be single is also very, very useful to have.